This loss hurts. Just when he thought the Giants were going to cruise to victory, starting going 6-0. Start up with a 6-run lead. Texas comes back and wins at 7-6 in 10 innings. Happy Friday, people. This is Giants Roundup on Friday, August 24th, Game 1 of a 3-game series. You can follow on Twitter, join the Crew Kite page on Facebook. Most importantly, please be kind and hit that subscribe button. And yeah, this loss stings. This one hurts really bad. The Giants got off to a good start tonight. First with a home run by Andrew McCutchen, 1-0 Giants. Longoria singles to third. It scores panic, 2-0. Crawford sacrifices, 3-0. Hanson sacrifices. Belt scores, 4-0. Buster Posey, 5-0. Singles to center. It scores Andrew McCutchen. Brandon Belt singles to center. It scores Joe Panic, 6-0 Giants. And we thought this lead would be safe. It'd be 6-0 until the 5th inning. Then Shin-Shu Chu singles to left. It scores Profar and Kinner Falefa, 6-2. 7th inning comes in. Joey Gallo singles homers to center. 6-3 at the okay, no problem. And Drew Hutchinson only goes 4 innings, allows 6 earned, walks 4, 2 strikeouts. ERA goes up to 8.83. Derek Rodriguez, good return back on the mound tonight. He goes 6 strong, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Eric, okay. The bullpen's good. Murata comes in. No. He gives up the home run to Gallo at 6-3. Springs the scoreless inning. Eddie Butler scored. And then Mark Melanson comes in. And he gives up a run to Mazzara, 6-4. Okay, we're still in this. Corey Guerin, inning and 2/3 strong, 4 strikeouts. Really pitches well. Pitched well against his former team tonight. We get to the 9th inning, top of the 9th. Okay, Will Smith's coming in. We should be fine. And then Joe Panic with a very costly error. Get the runner on base. And then Odor ties the game with a home run to right. And that just hurts. Smith's second blown save of the year since he became the closer. His 3rd blown save of the season. 2 runs, none of them earned due to the error. It is 6-6. We go to extras. Sam Dyson comes in, walks the bases loaded, and then the dagger. He walks Chirinos. It scores Profar, 7-6. That would be your final. And that hurts. That loss hurts. And then on top of that, Dyson gets booed off the mound. And the Giants, after they lose, get booed off the field. And this has to be the worst loss of the year. This one really stings. And I think the wheels are starting to fall off on this team. I just think the wheels are really starting to fall off on this team. And it's just, and I even think Brian Sabian is really starting to come to terms that core players are going to have to be traded this offseason. And even he's starting to come to terms that, and he's and I agree with him on this. I don't see Bryce Harper coming here. Maybe you're lucky and get somebody like Patrick Corbin. That might be a more realistic target. But I honestly think that we could be looking at a tank season in 2019. It's starting to look more and more like the front office and the shareholders are starting to come to grips with the reality that we don't know what it's. I don't know if they'll ever accept rebuilding, but it's not going to be. I think there's going to be core players being traded this year. I think Brandon Belt's they're definitely going to be open to business about trading Brandon Belt. They might finally be coming to terms that Madison Bumgarner may have to be moved this offseason to make the team better. But the team as is just not good. And yeah, the wheels are really starting to fall off this team, and who knows what's going to happen this offseason, but I think Brian Sabian's and the Giants ownership is really starting to come to grips with the fact that the wheels are falling off and there's going to be some major changes needed this offseason. And this loss hurts. This loss truly hurts. And I don't know how Bochy can. And this one has to really be bad. This one just has to be a black eye on Bruce Bochy tonight. The only saving grace for the Giants is that they do get some reinforcements next week. The September call-ups are coming next week. Some of it's been injuries, but I just think that there's going to be a culture change this offseason. And the writing's really starting to be on the wall for Brian Sabian that there is going to be I don't know what Brian Sabian can do. But I think he's right about them getting power hitters, and that's I think it's going to be whether it's a reload or retool or whatever. I think it's going to be a rebuild. I think they have to. But this is going to get interesting. What's going to happen with Larry Bear? I think this could really starting to look like an off season that could be nuclear. I think the Giants are really heading into a nuclear winter. And I think the rebuild's going to happen. It's just I think we are going to start seeing the first stages of a rebuild this offseason. And this is I think the first thing, and and I think this is also maybe a sign that there's going to be a managerial vacancy this offseason. I think for this Bochy's may have to. I think retirement's coming for Bochy in another month. And it may not be advertised as a rebuild, but I think they're going to try. And they're not tanking is something the Giants aren't crazy about, but I think the fan base, to be honest, would be more patient and understanding about rebuilding than they would keep putting in this shit product on the field now. I think there's going to be a discussion in the next few days. I think there's going to be some sort of a firing or a mutual. I think there's going to be retirements in 2019 or mutual parting of ways. And I think it's going to get interesting. I think, as I said, I think you're going to see a lot of changes this offseason. First one is, I think Posey's done catching. Once the surgery scheduled, Aramis Garcia is going to be in the squat during most of September. It'll be Hundley and Garcia. And hopefully Aramis Garcia can bring up a good show. Hopefully they add Ronnie Freeman to the 40-man roster. That's a real possibility there. Hopefully maybe we see Tyler Rogers for once and for. I'm not sure about starting Sean Anderson's options clock just yet. Maybe tonight's the last night we see Sam Dyson. He could be heading for the waiver wire at any moment. But I think maybe this is a point where almost anybody and everybody could be available in 2019. I think the Giants in winter meetings, they're going to have to step once they get that new voice in the dugout. I really think that they're going to have to start getting an idea of what kind of return they want from Madison Bumgarner. I think Bumgarner is going to have to be traded. I think, honestly, Brandon Belt, listen to offers for Belt, get him, find a trade partner for Brandon Belt. Those are your two core players that I think are not going to be on the Giants roster next year. And then depending on where the Giants are by the All-Star break, if they're out of it by then, you start listening. You maybe trade Tony Watson, Will Smith, start blowing up the bullpen of the expiring contracts of next year. But it's going to, and also most importantly, more scouting, get the farm. It's going to be more of a focus on the farm next year. And if I'm reading between the lines of Brian Sabian, maybe it is going to be 2 years of tanking, 2 years of uncertainty. And I'd rather have that through a young analytical manager than. And some people would like to see Hensley Mullins become Bochy's successor. No. I think it's time for outside hires. I think it's time to go outside, maybe Ryan Christensen. Rob Thompson's another idea for a manager. But the time has come, and I think the writing's starting to come on the wall for this team that it's going to look a lot different next year. And I think the faster they rebuild, the less attendance will suffer. I think fans are as I say, most fans I've talked to are a lot more patient and understanding about rebuilding than they'd think. And we are heading into a lot of uncertainty this offseason. But the Giants saving grace coming up is that September call-ups start next Saturday, so we should get see what will happen. Won't be a lot of big names coming up. It may be Chris Shaw, Aramis Garcia, and Tyler Rogers. That might be your three names. That's not necessarily the greatest thing either there. Tonight's attendance was 39,845, not a sellout. And I think if there's one reason maybe to go to AT&T Park during the month of September, is the fact this could very likely be the last month we see Bochy managing the Giants. I think there's growing belief that there's going to be a new voice in the dugout next year. So go enjoy Bochy while you can. He may not be back next year. All right, let's do the MLB Roundup for your Friday night. The Cubs beat the Reds 3-2, taking the win. Jesse Chavez taking the loss. Raisel Iglesias. In Baltimore, the Yankees beat the Orioles 7-5. The Orioles have lost their 91st game of the season. Taking the win, Chad Green. Taking the loss, Cody Carroll, who surrenders 3 earned in 1 inning pitched. Jonathan Villar, 3 for 5. 3 for 5 for Chris Davis, who gets his batting average up a skosh to 169. Neil Walker goes 3 for 5 for the Yankees. Luke Voigt, 3 for 5 for the Bombers. Hits 2 home runs on the night. And another good outing by Alex Cobb. I think it's time to put this guy on waivers while you can if you're Baltimore. In Toronto tonight, the Blue Jays beat the Phillies 3-2, taking the win. Ryan Baruki taking the loss. Jake Arrieta, who walks 3 in 6 innings pitched. Randall Grichuk, 2 for 3 for Toronto. Cesar Hernandez, 3 for 5. Scott Kingery, 2 for 3. Roman Quinn, 2 for 3 for the Phillies. And now the Phillies fall 3 back of Atlanta. In Miami, the Braves get blanked by the Marlins 1-0, taking the win. Dan Straley taking the loss. Mike Folty-Nevitz, who strikes out 8 in 6 innings pitched. The good news is that Ronald Acuna not hit by any pitches tonight. And they were probably playing under a pregame warning. In Queens tonight, the Mets beat the Nationals 3-0, taking the win. Jason Vargas, who strikes out 8 in 6 innings pitched. Gio Gonzalez pitching better, but did not get the win tonight. 7-11 on the season now. Oh, and that's not so heavenly. Kevin Plawecki, 2 for 3 for the Mets. In Tampa Bay tonight, the Rays beat the Red Sox 10-3. Taking the win, Jalen Beeks. Taking the loss, Hector Velazquez. Beeks with another win over his former team. Just dingers, 3 for 5. Xander Bogaerts, 3 for 5 for Boston. Ji-Man Choi, 2 for 3 for Toronto, Tampa Bay. Wiley Adames, 2 for 3. Brandon Lowe, 2 for 2 for Tampa Bay. And Velazquez, 8 earned in 2 2/3 innings pitched. We could see Drew Pomeranz find himself right back in the rotation. The White Sox beat the Tigers 6-3, taking the win. Thiago Vieira taking the loss. Joe Jimenez, 4 earned in 1/3 of an inning pitched. And then Shane Green, 2 earned without recording an out. And the A's clobber the Twins 7-1, taking the win. Sean Manaea taking the loss. Jake Odorizzi, an earned 2 runs, 1 earned, just could not catch a break. Oliver Drake, 3 earned in 1 inning pitched. Addison Reed, 2 earned in 1 inning pitched for Minnesota. Matt Chapman, his 18th home run of the year. Matt Piscotty, his 17th. And Ramon Laureano, his 3rd home run of the year for Oakland. Oakland now 77-52 on the year. Still a game and a half back of Houston. And in a 15-inning marathon tonight, the Brewers beat the Pirates 7-6. Taking the win is Jordan Lyles. Taking the loss, Clay Holmes, 3 earned in 2/3 of an inning pitched. Gregory Polanco, 3 for 5. Sterling Marte, 3 for 6. Christian Yelich, his 22nd home run on the year. Joe Musgrove only goes 4 innings for Pittsburgh tonight. In Kansas City, the Royals beat the Indians 5-4, taking the win. Willie Peralta taking the loss. Cody Allen, who surrenders 2 earned without recording an out. Yan Gomes goes 3 for 4 for Cleveland. Yonder Alonso, 2 home runs on the night. Now up to 22 bombs on the year. Brandon Maurer, 2 earned in 1 inning pitched for Kansas City. In Colorado, the Cardinals stay hot and beat the Rockies 7-5, taking the win. Carlos Martinez taking the loss. Antonio Sanzatella, 7 earned in 4 1/3 innings pitched. Colton Wong, 3 for 3 for St. Louis. Ryan McMahon, 3 for 5 for Colorado. Nolan Arenado, his 31st home run of the year. Miles Mikolas only survives 4 2/3. Surrenders 5 runs, 4 earned. And Carlos Martinez, good out of the bullpen tonight. In Arizona, the Mariners beat the D-backs 6-3, taking the win. Erasmo Diaz taking the loss. Zach Godley strikes out 7, surrenders 5 earned in 5 innings pitched. Mitch Haniger goes 3 for 5, hits his 21st home run on the year for Arizona. In the OC tonight, the Astros beat the Angels 9-3, taking the win. Dallas Keuchel strikes out 6 in 7 innings pitched, taking the loss. Andrew Heaney. Mike Trout, 2 for 3 for the Angels tonight. Carlos Correa, 2 for 4 in his return. Jose Altuve, his 10th home run on the year. And in Dodger Stadium tonight, the Dodgers clobber the Padres 11-1. Rich Hill takes the win, 6 scoreless innings, 8 strikeouts for the Dodgers. Clayton Richard takes the loss for the Padres, 6 earned runs for Clayton Richard. Miguel Diaz, 2 earned. Phil Maton, 2 earned in 2 innings pitched. And now the Dodgers are just three and a half games out of the division. And the Giants also did tonight get some bad news on Jeff Samardzija. He had a setback on his shoulder. He is likely done for the season. And I think we will probably be hearing the words shoulder surgery for Samardzija sometime in the near future, with Rodriguez being activated. Casey Kelly was optioned back to Sacramento. I think we will see Kelly back up in the next few days. Sometime next week, we'll probably see Sam Dyson on waivers some point soon. Now down onto the minors for tonight. The River Cats The River Cats blank the 51s 4-0. Taking the win is Sean Anderson. This is a kid. If he does not, everybody wants him up in September. I say wait until next year. But he is definitely a kid to watch in 2019 is Sean Anderson. 7 scoreless innings. And the Grizzlies lose to the Salt Lake Bees tonight, 7-5. But with the Reno Aces losing to Albuquerque tonight, the magic number, all the Grizzlies need to do tomorrow is win, and they are in, or a loss by the Reno Aces. As the Grizzlies fall to 75-55 on the year. Kyle Tucker goes 3 for 5 for Fresno tonight. J.D. Davis 2 for 4. Tucker hits 2 home runs for the Grizzlies tonight. It was just not enough. Trent Thornton, 5 earned in 6 innings pitched, strikes out 7. Matt Ramsey, an earned run, takes the loss. Riley Farrell, an earned run. Good attendance tonight, 10,222. And this will conclude it for Giants Roundup tonight. We will be back on tomorrow where we'll hope for something better than this. But everybody have a good Saturday. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon. It'll be a 1 o'clock game tomorrow, so that's good news. Then UFC in the evening. So so I'll get to record before UFC tomorrow. That will be great. Everybody have a great night.